protecting desktops, because it's an agent that is installed on the desktop. It can protect the agent, the user, from whatever network they use. It doesn't have to be only when they are in the corporate network. So if a user gets compromised, gets phished, or for example tries to use his corporate password on a site that is not a corporate site, either inadvertently or because it's been phished, Apex is gonna obviously detect that, even prevent that from happening. And the user is on the public internet, but nevertheless, the agent is going to be sending to the cloud, to the Trusteer management application, an event that indicates that such a thing actually happened. So in fact, we are going to go through this demo and show that we can go into the Trusteer management application and see that such event actually happened. So that's good. We've seen that before. But now what we have is an element called the Apex Local Manager that basically allows that event that went through the cloud to actually being forwarded into an SIEM like Curator. Doesn't have to be Curator only, notifying about the user having done that action, even when that happened when he was on the public internet and on the corporate network. So that allows you to do things in Curator like adding that user to a reference set of, let's say, risky users. And then you're going to have a set of rules that are more stringent to monitor whatever that particular user is doing. So when that user actually goes, let's say that this happens on a Friday or a weekend when phishing attacks typically happen, and the user goes back into the corporate network on Monday, your SIEM or Curator or anyone else can be aware of those things happening and can react much better to it. System, we are going to go into this client, which we can see that has the Apex installed. You see that icon with the green icon with the Apex logo. And the user is going to go into, say, LinkedIn, and he's going to try to use his corporate password on LinkedIn, right? And Apex is going to, as we know, is going to actually warn the user about it. So here's the user entering that password. The hash is taken, is compared to the previous hash, and bang, says, hey, you are using the corporate password. So either if the user submitted or doesn't submit it, and these are options that you configure on Apex, that action gets notified into the TMA, the Trusteer Management Application. So we can actually see that event by going into the password protection event section of the TMA console, as you will do from your enterprise, and see that there is this particular attempt to use the corporate credentials. So we can actually, we see that the username is there, the endpoint name, you get that unique Trusteer Apex ID that allows us to uniquely identify. We see the URL that the user actually tried to actually go into. So, but now, because of the ALM, the Apex Local Manager that forwards that message to Curator, we have a search here for the Apex event, and we can actually see that we have here password protection event detected. So we can double click on that event to see the details of it. When we do that, then here we see, the actions, and below we can actually see the leaf format in which the ALM sends the data to Curator. So we see the username, we see things like the URL that the user actually tried to go in, the unique identifier. All that data is available into Curator now, again, regardless of the fact that when the user performed this action, he was not in the corporate network.